Now we're after the live. I greatly appreciate you, and I'll explain why I decided to come on and do a third live for the day. But there's some stuff I would really like to talk about XRP, about a little bit of the manipulation that's going on, and why I still believe that we are consolidating within a big manipulated event here, where not only I'll get into it in a minute. Once I do my intro, once we start talking a little bit, and once we have whoever wants to be in here is tuning in. Um, I don't know why it always does that now on YouTube. That's kind of weird. But I'll let everybody get in who wants to be here. Please make sure you hit that like button, as it is very, very important. And it's the most important thing you can do when you come on in here is hit that like button, because it'll help push us through the algorithm, help push us through the analytics, and it'll help more people reach this beautiful community. Because I really do think we do something special here. I don't think it's by accident we're up to 19,300 plus subscribers here, and so many dedicated ladies and gentlemen that come in here day after day after day and try to, whether come in here and show support from maybe from a financial standpoint for the ones who join Tom's Army, who send YouTube super chats, which is always greatly appreciated. Whether you come in here by showing your support by hitting the like button and sharing it on YouTube. I know in the last 7 days I got a report and it said that 336 people shared my YouTube in the last 7 days, I believe it said. So there's no secret why I was able to gain, what was it, 300, no, 230, no, 316 subscribers over like a 7 day period. That's because of all of you sharing this channel. There's no way about it. I don't pay for any advertising. I don't have a marketing budget. I don't do any paid sponsorships or paid promotions or advertisements of any kind. So there simply is no marketing budget. So by you guys doing that and sharing over 300 times in a week, that caught me off guard. I was like, holy crap. 336 shares, I think it said in my weekly report. That's the most I've ever had. It might not sound like a lot to some of you, but that's 336 people sharing it. It doesn't count one person twice. So you could share it 10 times, it won't count it. It's 336 unique addresses, or maybe you shared it on a separate update. So if I did 2 videos and you shared 2 separate ones, sure. So maybe somebody's sharing them all, and I appreciate that even. I can't do 336 updates in a week. So I do appreciate all of you. It really, yeah, couldn't you tell trading with J-Rod I didn't want to leave before? I really didn't. I just had an obligation, and I was not done yet. Let me honestly, I don't like to be done that quickly, even though it was almost a half hour. Let me plug this back in because it'll be on my tablet, even though it doesn't technically need to be charged. But anyhow, let me say hi to everybody. Michael, welcome in. Justin, Clark, good afternoon. Trading with J-Ride, good evening. Mo, welcome in. Do the whales know something? 30th SEC Ripple meeting or pure accumulation? Well, we're going to discuss a lot of things. Now, the problem is what the optics. We're always going to have to watch what's coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the end of the month when 1 billion XRP is released from escrow. So we're going to have to deal with that tragedy. But that doesn't necessarily mean price goes down. We've seen instances where it goes up, consolidates, and continues on. It happens every month. Put this out on X for you, Tom. Thank you, Michael, so much for that. Like, seriously, that means the world. Because it reaches. So there's a lot of different ways you can contribute. It doesn't all have to be financial. Most people, like I said, less than 1% of the people ever do a financial contribution. But that might seem like it's true on the onset. But think about one of those 337 people or 337 shares that I had. Think of you bringing in how we had 316 or 336 new subscribers. Just on ad revenue, there's probably, depending on how much they watch, there's a few dollars from ad revenue on the new people. Just from YouTube showing the stuff, because there's probably around $800 to $1,000 on a good month in ad revenue. So you help in all different ways. But I don't base what I do on a dollar amount. I base on what I do on the amount of interaction, on the amount of people that come back and watch again, and the more and more that we can get people into these lives, start talking. I know I've been on a lot today, so I didn't even know if it pushed me through the algorithm to even have 37 people in it. I really thought I'd be talking to myself until it got released. So, but anyhow, let me timestamp this and let's get into the nitty gritty. Good evening, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So very quickly, and then we'll get into some of this, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So XRP 6123. Teo, welcome in. Crypto Scrooge, good evening. Make sure you watch Crypto Scrooge over here on YouTube if you're into the ledger, if you like solo, and yada, 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 and much more. He's really grinding very hard. I think everybody in this audience should watch him. Homegrown. Puentes, welcome in. Spencer, I love you too, my friend. I love that I'm your favorite YouTuber. I'm 100 and thrilled. That means a lot to me. I'll continue reading everybody who's commenting. Anthony, hello. Michael Feldman, thank you for that. And thanks for hitting the like button as well. He showed me on X. I'm pretty sure somebody just said the 1 billion won't make a difference. It always makes a difference. To say you can just unload that much and it's not going to have some volatile effect. It may not have a difference in the outcome, but momentarily it'll have a difference once it drops. If you're taking a short or a long, maybe you're in a 50x trade, that volatility is going to hurt somebody. So sure, it's going to have an impact of some sort. Do I own any Bitcoin? No. God, no. No offense to anybody who owns Bitcoin. My money's wetter spent. So, and hear me out. Some people yell at me, well, Tom, what the hell? And I'm like, listen, I could be in Bitcoin. Or, like I said, and some people laughed at me. I put $3,586, $3,588 total dollars, 1,204 and 3/4 shares. And yes, I know it to the T. And you should do if you're an investor, of B2 Gold at a 5% dividend. I talked very clearly how I wanted to wait until it came down here, but I had no choice but to buy this rotation because it put in this inverted right shoulder. So I bought it back at $2.97. And I said I did not get $2.78 because I was hoping that it got rejected and came down here. So with my own hopium, but I got $2.97, and I said it was not worth the risk that it comes down here and then it ends up pulling up on an inverted right shoulder like it looked like it was going to. And then we end up, before we know it, hold this 324 and then we're off to $4. Look where we closed today, ladies and gentlemen. We're up 6.4% on B2. How many of you remember me talking about the unexpected rally in precious metals? How many of you are watching my midday market report? And this all ties in. There's a reason why we're going over commodities right now. It all ties into what I'm about to say. Notice at the same time, the DXY is dropping. The US 10 years drop. Why is all this happening? At the same time, the Fed doesn't have to pay taxes anymore. They're expanding the money supply right before our very eyes, and risk on are about to pump. Precious metals are going to probably explode here. And you're seeing we're almost up to $2,050 an ounce now with gold. We covered this very closely. Sometimes it's like, holy crap, I don't know what else I can say. We've measured this out so perfectly, guys. We had the technical target of coming up here once it was on top of this area. It came all the way down. We got on top, hit the technical move. Then we target it from coming right down to 1930, and this would be our technical. Look how perfectly this is going. It's not just crypto, though. If you understand the risk within the commodity markets and how it all ties together with not just cryptocurrencies, not just with the US dollar, not just with the government bonds or crude oil, or why this all happens. Why is it doing this? Why is crypto going up today instead of going, why is Bitcoin over 38,000 now? Why didn't it close over 38,000 in the daily close if it was just going to come up over 38? There's so many questions we can ask ourselves. Like with Bitcoin, you know what's happening right now. If this is a standard bull flag, get ready in the 4-hourly. If this is a standard bull flag at some point, and yeah, you could come down. And what do I always say about these? So when everybody says, oh, it's dead, what do I always say? Rejection down to the 20-day, probably 37,500, just to rotate back up if the bull flag holds. It does that for liquidity. Everybody going long here gets flushed. Everybody going short feels good, and then they get flushed on the next pull. They get both sides of it. It's a beautiful concept. I don't know of anybody going short or long that's just going to sell out right when they become in the money. And most people won't even put a stop loss on once they get in the money because they're like, well, what if it cancels me out? Well, then just buy back in where you initially bought back in and keep that initial money in case it just rotates the other way. So with Bitcoin, 38,000, and you can't tell me this isn't a manipulated touch every single time. Every single time it wants to touch back down, all that money just, it piles in from somewhere. Every time it looks like it's going one way, every time they tell you it's going one way, how could they have all told you it was going to go down and then it so blatantly was obvious that it was going up? How could everybody have so blatantly said that it was on a bull flag when anybody who understands technical analysis should have been able to tell you it was on a descending or a broadening wedge? And I'm going to take down all these red because, like Terry says, it gets confusing. And it does. So I'm going to leave the two main targets that you have to break over, 37,980 to hold, and then the technical target of 42,708. Now, technically, and I've heard this argument, so I'll clone this. Technically, and I can't argue with you, you said it broke out over here initially. Why do you measure it over here? That was just where I started measuring it. But since we started the break up here, sure, we could do about right here. Here. So, it would make it 42,663. So I'll delete that now, but I understand that argument. So there, I moved it down just a little bit. But the technical target, it tugged, it came down here, held the 20-day all the way up. It even retested right here, which was crucial. And then it came up to a technical target, held the 20-day all the way up. Now, if you are having a bullish continuation out of a broken structure to the top side, as long as you ride that 20-day, you're going to have a parabolic spike at some point. As long as you use that as the support, that means the short buyers aren't willing to give way yet. The reason why the 20-day is so important on a move is if you come below the 20-day, it just means the short sellers are already done with their profit. Right now, they're not taking profit. If they were, they'd be selling on the 20, and that would come through. So that's the best thing that we can do. That great state of niche again always gets me pumped, even though you're from Texas. Hey, I was out in Texas last year, and I had to say from the great state of Texas, even though it's hot as hell out here every single day. Even at 1:30 in the morning, it's 100 degrees and hot and humid. It's coming out of my hotel when Julie would have a smoke, and I'd go sit with her, and it was hot. Oh, it was hot. But it was cool. I worked an event there. It was pretty cool. I didn't even work an event. I got to go to an event. Well, I guess you could say I worked it. I did. I had to go there 9-10 hours a day. Good stuff. But what do we think about all this? Am I crazy about all this? I'm not wrong, Andrew. Thank you for that. I'd be killing it. I want to read what that said. I'd be killing it. Says, if XRP hits $10, I'm buying a PS5 and pulling up at T1. Oh, I love it. Hey, you're on the PlayStation. I am also on the PlayStation. And if anybody's wondering what my name is on the PlayStation, I kid you not, I redid it when my account froze that I had from when I was a kid. It was Bluntmonger420. And somehow I guess it was against terms of services nowadays, so they froze my account. So I had to restart. But I'm ISO 20022. I kid you not, on the PlayStation. I'm ISO 20022. ISO-20022. Real talk. Getting pretty good at Fortnite because of my nephew. He's 12. He makes me play all the time. Oh, true story. He lives with Grandpa now. Him and my sister. Well, long story, but they're living with my dad now. They bought a new house. And I'll let you guys fill in the picture. So I get to talk to him a lot. So, I'm playing that with him a lot. And, hey, this old man is starting to be able to build. It took a while. It's kind of hard to see the screen when you're old. I'm not old by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm older. And I can only see out of one eye to begin with. True story. But anyhow, I don't want to scare anybody else away. So, more inverted hammer here. I like this. It's just, we don't want to tug down. If we come down, we're going to have to continue to try to ride this uptrend, but we're in a very critical spot. We cannot afford to lose this 608 in the 4-hourly. There's a death cross looming. If that happens, that means the short sellers have given up. That's how I'm going to start to describe it right now. The short sellers would be giving up, and the ones willing to go long would just give way. But this looks like, to me, outside, and let's get into that little manipulation I talked about when we first started. So let's think about something here. Let's talk. You and I, let's talk. And I guess my screen's going to be inverted because you're looking at me this way. So you're not going to get the luxury of my screen behind me being able to read it like you do in my morning updates when I have my camera turned around and then I can pause it after the intro. I can come back to the opposite way like this. So basically, You're right. Hold on. You're right. You can't hear me now, but hold on. I know you're gonna hear me now, but I know what the problem was. Whenever that's on, you can't hear me at all. Yep. Okay. So you guys help me. You guys help me. So you can't hear me when that screen's on. So that's good. Yep. I was just doing a test. You guys helped me. That's why I went back to it to see if you could hear me or not. So when my video camera's on, it'll shut me off during the live now. Interesting. So the reason why I'm saying this. So with XRP, what was the main reason they did this? And I have a theory now. What's the main reason they did this? The whales. I'm gonna put this out now, and you guys tell me what you think. So if the whales are just hear me out. If the whales are accumulating, and let's just say they bought the accumulation here when it first hit these trends. Maybe they didn't even want to buy because back in 2020, but now in 22 they're like, okay, here's our time. They start buying when we did around 34 and a half cents. Then they wait, and then they're like, oh boy, now more of them consolidate and buy around 41. Then more consolidate, and they start buying as we're doing this consolidation. Well, it bounces up, comes down, bounces. I mean, what are the reasons for this? So if I come back here now, and we assume that they're consolidating, and institutional investors, maybe even in here, maybe they're getting excited now because of the settlement, and that's how we came up here. Now they're feeling like, okay, well, we still didn't get the buy we wanted. There's no way I'm buying at 75 cents or even at 60. I know I can get this cheaper. Well, if they're already buying it at these other levels we talked about, imagine that they're consolidating or they're accumulating like I always talk about. They accumulated at those levels. What easier way to come back onto an accumulation for the whales to open up some major shorts up here? But how are they going to get the price to drive up there? Because they can single-handedly drive it right back down. Because they'll just open shorts at monumental amounts. Well, how are they going to get us to get the price to come up here for a double top without every single buyer understanding and getting in here? And how are they going to clear out this liquidity zone so that the short doesn't go boom, 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 and then maybe even bounce out with some added liquidity? What do? They put out some fake news, and every social media influencer who's on the payroll puts it out ahead of time and runs with the story. It's very easy to see who to decipher from when this stuff happened, these kind of events. And what did they do? They said BlackRock putting into or filing paperwork for a trust, which is basically like them wanting to put in for a XRP ETF, essentially. And what did it do? It pumped that price up in a matter of an hour. And I told everybody, the charts aren't showing this, and it's going to come back down. And we had a technical target around that, and it came right down. It was back in the pattern. We talked about the technical move, and it ended up hitting it. It took a little bit of time because of that, a few extra days. Actually, it took 24 hours. I said, talk to me in 24 hours, and it would hit our initial target, which it did. Consolidated down to the bottom. But how were they going to get that manipulated push? They had to put up fake stories. And then how are they going to bring it back down? It's easy. They're already accumulating throughout all these levels. So they put out a short, and then they cover the short when it goes low enough, and then they've got more longs. It's the oldest trick in the book. In the stock market, I can't say that it works any different in crypto, and they had to do it. How else are they going to get rid of that liquidity? This is the only way. And the other way to explode through this area after for the whales, if they're ready to make a big push, and I'm going to read a little article here in a second, and you tell me what you think. If they're ready to have a big push, they got to wipe out that liquidity in that zone. You've essentially wiped out all liquidity from 75 all the way down to the 663, and then some all the way down to 57.6 cents roughly. So you've cleared the liquidity out for 18 cents now. That entire accumulation zone, it did it in a matter of an hour or a day, 24 hours, with that quick wick up and down. Liquidated longs, liquidated shorts. Now the shorts think they're good. What's the idea? What the hell's what's going to happen here? That's what I'm saying. If you hold this structure, we have a timetable now. We understand the new recognition, the new pattern. We understand it established an uptrend, and now we know if this loses out. So just imagine this is your small formation, followed by this little falling channel that's followed it with this little uptrend. If you get rejected here, boom, you got no choice. If you break out of this, bam, bam, and now you could be starting to bounce out again. And if we're rounding the bottom, which I don't even want to say it from there because I can show you better evidence of a rounding the bottom style event where we should be building a handle here. And it would have looked better if we wouldn't have that double top, and I think everybody can acknowledge that. Rounding the bottom, building the bullish handle on the cup should do something like this and bring it out. You should be able to swing it around eventually and finish this cup and handle. This is not finished. That's a first tier. The fact that it held this zone and it held the descending channel. So we'll see. But if it breaks down, there's no way you get up there. We're in a shit spot right now. That's what I keep saying. As much as we want it to go up, we're in a bad spot now. We're below the daily time frame 20-day. But what makes it worse is we're so close to a death cross here with one big shot of sellers. We're coming down to 52.5 cents. There's no doubt about it. And what does that mean for the weekly time frame? Not much, actually. It's funny, but not much. You'd be below the support, but is it a wick? Because if you come down here, you could be reversing. But if it's nothing more than a wick, who knows? It's so hard. It's so hard on these to just be like, oh, this is what's happening and this is what's not. So I believe that was a manipulated push-up. I believe that the institutional investors right now are harming us because they're trying to get a little creative here. Whether the institutional investors are Ripple themselves or some other whales with massive accounts that understand and doing exactly what I'm talking about. But the trading bots here seem to be picking up at a higher level. And when that happens, you get a lot of volatility, but you end up filling the exact same formations. It did it in more of a structured way, which is sad. You got that right, Tom. Thanks. It's all a big smoke screen. I agree with that. And XDC will do the opposite. XDC's got to get ready for a move soon. It always fills the same move as XRP, but notice, it had its big manipulated push, and we talked about it way back here in October, right around Halloween. But this is having the bearish cross. It's eventually going to break out of this massive formation. It already has broken out and from here, but it's a matter of does it come back down here and retest the breakout. So, but eventually this is going to fill out this wider pattern. It's got to come up here at some point. I've targeted around 575 if it decides to take until like mid or late December. I would target somewhere around there. But if it were to break down, XDC's got to come down to 4.1, but I'm not necessarily convinced that's what's going to happen. It had a long descending structure that it finally broke out of and is still attempting to confirm this breakout. As long as it doesn't break this structure I have it inside of right now, this is beautiful. And it's going to have a lot of leverage to bounce up to that 575. And one day you're going to wake up to a massive move. Some people are like, oh, massive move, 30%. Hey, it is what it is. Don't set your bars at 3,000%. Set them at a certain percentage at a time. And then this is what I want. This is just, let me know what you think about this. And I'm pretty much winding down now. I think I got everything out that I wanted to that I missed earlier. And I'm glad I came back on. I really am. So, and if you're watching, please make sure to hit that like button. It really does help. We have 59 people hit that like button out of 73 so far. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything, questions you have. If there's anything you want to add to this. Because I believe that that manipulation happened because it had to. That was the only way they were going to get that topside liquidity. And the fact they wiped out that zone, I wanted to talk about that before I read this. So can XRP price at $1 this December? Major whale buy signal. Incoming full-blown mega rally. The popular cryptocurrency analyst Ali Martinez shared an interesting analysis of the increased activity of large XRP whales recently, which could indicate the beginning of a significant upturn for XRP to hit the coveted $1 price. According to Ali, on-chain data for XRP shows that whales have acquired around 11 million XRP tokens in the last week, valued at approximately 6.82 million. Ripple on-chain data, and then there's where it shows it, the certified Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, even though it's hemorrhaging money. These significant purchases by whales and relevant holders of the Ripple native token could suggest growing confidence in the project and its potential for future appreciation as the future of the SEC lawsuit approaches. Additionally, it's worth noting that XRP is trading at 0.6126, 84% below its historical high of $3.84, which was reached on January 4th, 2018, according to CoinMarketCap data. Is XRP gearing for a massive rally? As reported by Xi Crypto recently, several analysts are predicting an XRP rally. Well, several analysts are predicting it. Well, for instance, cryptocurrency, blah, blah, blah. Twitter did it. Forming a flag pattern with a price target of 90 cents, coinciding with a Fibonacci resistance. Wow, at least they're using the Fibonacci. Isn't that something? Some kind of flag pattern, you don't say. However, Bellicor cautioned the XRP must first reclaim the 67-cent level to validate this bullish formation, a level that doesn't seem too challenging to recover considering the institutional interest in holding the fifth cryptocurrency by market capitalization. I agree with his level more. That's 663 approximately, but as you go across, I actually like 67 cents to be honest, because then it's right over that level. On the other hand, analyst eGrog Crypto highlighted a significant support level around 50 cents, which held up despite recent negative news regarding the possible arrest of Changpeng Zhao and the astronomical $4.3 billion fine imposed on Binance for violating money laundering. I don't understand why that would affect XRP. That would be more of an effect on Bitcoin, Binance token, the BUSD, BNB. So I'm not sure what that is. To me, that's nonsense. Another of the more sensational predictions, bordering on almost impossible given current regulations. Hold on, Jay, I'm almost done. Comes from Edward Farina, head of social adoption at XRP Healthcare. He asserted that XRP could skyrocket to 10th. Okay, we don't even need to read that. He reasoned blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, basically, 3/4 bullshit. We got the 25%. Can it hit $1 by December? I think that's reaching by December. If you want to say maybe it can try to run to 85 cents. How are we getting past 85 cents and holding it? Are we just forgetting about that level? Because that pattern's held up since January of 2018. When we went to all-time highs, that pattern hasn't given way yet. So how do we just get past that? I'm failing to see. So, and now it's in the rotation. You can see we hit all-time highs. Now in the rotation, we got to break over there. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all so much for tuning back into this live. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to show me support, make sure to hit that like button, share this on social media, and hit that subscribe button and join the over 19,300 subscribers. You can always go to the video description below if you're looking for a way to trade XRP, whether futures trading or spot trading. There's a couple different options that I use myself. And then if you want to show me personal support, you can always join Tom's Army or send a YouTube super chat and help pay it forward. But other than that, have a blessed night, everybody. I'm glad that we're able to come back together. I appreciate everybody who took the time to be a part of this live. And thank you so much, Puentes. I can look at Solo and Core real quickly for the $15 donation. I really appreciate that a lot. What are my thoughts on SHX, XSP, and LSP? I don't have thoughts on them, honestly. He's sleeping. How did he fall asleep? He's been tired. It died. Uh-oh. It's okay. He's out. Corium real quick. We are still attempting this breakout. Corium's still looking fine. As long as Corium doesn't lose back into this, come back into the pattern formation, it can come down here again and retest 8 cents. But if it rounds this, our next target's going to be up here at like 13.3. It's got a big move if it can stay on top of this formation. If not, you're going to have to fall back within. It's trying to ride the 20-day right now in the daily. 4-hourly is where everything converges now. It looks like it's trying. It's just, it could have a broader inversion here. I mean, it really could. It could try to push out here. It's just if it breaks down, just pay attention to that 795 level. And a breakup is going to bring you a pretty substantial pull here if it does break up. It's been building pressure here for some time. It's been on a downward trajectory since about April. Well, a lot longer than April, but this consolidatory pressure has been going on since April. After that big drop that looked like it was putting in a bear flag. Now it looks like it could have put an inverted head right there, so we'll have to see. And then Solo. Solo's still pushing out. Solo came out of a very expanded bear flag. It's trying to push in a golden cross here in the daily. It came up, it's converging nice. You just don't want to stay rejected here, but this looks like it's getting ready for another test of the 200 day at about 12 cents. 12.1. You'd know it's going wrong if we get rejected here at the 20 day and we push down. Right now, it looks like it's putting a long leg. Nah, not quite. But it certainly could be a problem if you get rejected by the 20 here and then you have to come retest here. You really want to break out here. If you break down, you're going to come back down to the bottom. If we break this structure, you got to retest the breakout point at 9.3. So that's what I got. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed night. I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you, everyone.